For real and unbiased sports news and reviews, from cricket to football and everything in between, with in-depth interviews from your favorite sports icons. Check out The Bench Meeting, hosted by Kenneth Bob, on Sundays from 4 to 5 p.m. Only on Win Media SKN.
Good afternoon to one and all. It's a pleasant Sunday afternoon. Quite hot outside. I guess we're getting into the dry season. And I want to wish all of you the very best, asking all of you as is humanly possible to be safe, given all that's going on around, and follow the protocols where you can. And let's see if we can keep ourselves as safe as possible amidst all of the turmoil taking place worldwide as it relates to coronavirus. But the coronavirus does not slow or has not stopped sports altogether. And today, this episode this afternoon is going to be a very exciting one. So for those of you whom are looking for something to do or listen to on the Sunday afternoon, this is probably one of my more exciting episodes for sure, in the sense that we'll be discussing all things St. Kitts Nevis Patriots. And we have some very special guests with us online. So there is a bit of discussion that I would love to delve into in terms of the NBA basketball. My predictions with the Knicks overcoming Atlanta was apparently way off base. Julius Randle let us down, so there's a lot to discuss there. There's also the recently concluded Champions League and Europa League finals, and we have some very happy Chelsea fans. Apparently one of my guests is one of them as well too, and not so happy Manchester City, and not so happy, like myself, Manchester United fans who would have lost on penalties earlier in the week in Gdańsk, Poland. But however, before as I said, I will not go into any of these additional sporting headlines today, because I think the topic that we have on hand for today in terms of the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots is extremely timely, in the sense that we just had the launch of the announcement of the full squad for the upcoming series. And as I said, without further ado, I would like to introduce my two guests who would have been instrumental in putting the entire squad list together. And with us today, we have Mr. Let me make sure I get the names right. It's not that difficult. Mr. Venkatesh Sridhar and Mr. Vaibhav Mehta, whom are the CEO. And I guess in starting, gentlemen, thank you. First of all, let me thank you, and thank you on behalf of the citizens, residents of St. Kitts and Nevis and Patriots fans worldwide. Thanks for being here this afternoon. It's great to have you. And as you introduce yourselves, maybe you could let us let the audience know a bit more of your role as within the organization.
Sure. So this is Vaibhav Mehta. First of all, it's an absolute pleasure, Kenneth, to be on the show. You can have us for the next episode as well, where we can discuss about Manchester United and Chelsea. We wouldn't mind that.
Brilliant.
So, just to start and give you an idea about myself, people call me VM on the island and in North America. Me and Venki have been the co-CEOs of St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, and we have been with the team for more than 2.5, 3 years. We look after the squad building, the commercials, the player recruitment, coaches, staffs, development of the players, everything, nice, along with the owners of St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots.
Brilliant. And Venki.
Hey, hello to everybody on the island. My name is Venkatesh Sridhar, or better known as Venki. And, like VM mentioned, me and VM do a lot of work in the area of sports, especially within the CPL context. We have been closely associated with the owner, Mr. Mahesh Venkatramani, who took over. And, we have been working with him for a while now. And Unfortunately, we couldn't be on the island last year because all the matches happened in Trinidad.
Agreed.
But this time, it's all in St. Kitts. Are you excited about it?
Oh man,
Tell me.
extremely excited. In fact, most persons I have spoken to were buzzing about it even before the announcement of the team and everything else. And I mean, obviously, there's the fear of the coronavirus and how CPL and everyone else is going to manage it, in the sense that St. Kitts has been relatively, secure so far. But I think that kind of plays into what the Patriots and CPL have been trying to do in terms of ensuring that they get the safest environment for the players. And I guess by following all the necessary protocols, we should all be okay.
Imagine our situation where we knew what the team was,
Yeah.
and we had to just wait for the announcement. Let the excitement build up. But we were just, at times we were like, okay, just we have this draft. Why don't we put it on Twitter and let the fans know what's coming?
Well, the thing is, I we had no idea about the announcement. I think the Dwayne Bravo announcement kind of shook the entire CPL world. That was the one I think caught everybody off guard and sort of gave everybody in the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots a little bit of a bounce immediately. But then once we got the full announcement, it was like, yeah, this team, you guys really trying to do something this year with this team. So tell us about the Dwayne Bravo. Let's start at the top then. Tell us about the Dwayne Bravo Chris Gale reunion. They're calling it Friends.
Friends reunion, yeah. So I would say we were done playing the underdogs, for quite some time, and we have this philosophy within the ownership groups and us and the coaches that if you have to make a dent in CPL, you need a strong local and regional core. Okay,
Exactly.
going forward, international players can come in and play a supporting role, but if you don't have a strong, local and regional players, you're not going to go far. And after whatever happened last year, it's a closed chapter for us. Yes, it's a scar that's not going to go away anytime soon. But the moment we just finished last season, we just sat down and we're like, okay, back to the drawing board. What do we need? Where do we need strengthening? And we started identifying targets. And Bravo was, I wouldn't say it was never a target. All top players are always a target if and when they are available for us. And when we got the news that, this is something that could happen,
Nice.
we just bounced and jumped on it and made sure we moved in before anybody else could.
Brilliant.
And the same
Because
thing
I still
about-
remember, VM, you remember our long flight back, where we were discussing a lot of things. And, I remember sitting next to VM and VM, writing down the names.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
just as we were looking at, what we wanted to do, the kind of, the players that we wanted to bring in. And now I look at it, even though some names we didn't get, that's okay, because we got some, someone similar in that frame. Like we wanted someone who was express, so we are not J now, right? We had someone else in mind at that time. We wanted a good, we wanted to bring in a sort of like a strong core of people who know how to win, because winning, like they say, is a habit. So I think with the kind of people that have now come, you can see that there is a core that is forming that is looking at bringing success. Me and VM are not saying that we will be lifting the title this year. I mean, that obviously is the hope. And considering the fact that yesterday was a good night for me personally and for all Chelsea fans, champions of Europe. So I hope that we become the champions of the Caribbean. So, I hope that, it rubs the right way. So I actually made a note of what I was wearing yesterday, right. And, right down to everything.
Nice.
Right. So that, when I come for the matches, that's what I'm going to wear.
Oh, okay. Brilliant. You bring that nice vibe with you, the nice hoodoo with you.
Yes.
Brilliant.
We need the voodoo.
Brilliant. Talk to me about Chris, because he is one of our favorite adopted
He,
sons in terms of he was our captain when we had our
Mhm.
best season. And then he stuck with us for a few years. Even though he's native to Jamaica, he seems to be more
he-
comfortable in a Patriots uniform. What was
yeah.
that discussion like?
So basically, like I said, means we identified the positions. I wouldn't say name because that would just
Yes,
giving us
agreed.
too
Yeah.
that would be just giving us too much credit. But we identified the positions that were required to strengthen. And like I said, things just started happening the moment we got in Bravo. And when such names come in and the agents talk to you and say, okay, look, would you want him in your team? Is there a spot available? And I would like if there's no spot available, we talk to CPL and extend the squad and make that spot available for a player like Chris. And we know how important he is to all the fans in St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, and how close he is with the island because it's his second home.
Yes,
So it's
yes.
just like a homecoming, and the moment the idea of bringing these two stalwarts of the game together in the same team, because till
It's
now
brilliant.
very few teams were able to do this where two regional stalwarts are playing in the same team. Like only TKR and Jamaica were able to pull such things off, and we want to be in the same category. You know.
Yes, yes, yes. I think it's going to give a big lift, and the experience that these
Yeah.
two have collectively,
Correct.
would give us a real boost because from our past or previous seasons, it is always one of the things that I noted was that our depth bowling, for example, may have been one of
Yeah.
our weak spots. And now you have Bravo now who addresses that and your leadership, as at the
Yeah.
same time, and he also would be able to assist the up and coming West Indian T20 players like Sheldon, who is in the squad.
Correct.
And, it does it does look like a very, very sound, thought out decision there, too.
Correct. So technically means like Venki said, the objective and the end mission is to obviously lift the cup. But as a fan, would you be happy if you're only lifting the cup once? The
No,
answer for
no,
me is
no,
always
no,
no,
no, no.
right? And as a fan, wouldn't you want local St. Kittian players, young lads, rubbing shoulders with Gale and Bravo, getting that
Definitely.
experience
Yes.
and making sure their career is advanced? So, like I said, in the beginning also, it's not only about lifting the cup; it is also about developing and nurturing talent
Nice.
locally from the Leeward Island, from St. Kitts. So the idea is obviously these guys are, in the later part of their career, but the experience and the knowledge that they can give to the young boys who we want to groom and take this team forward will be humongous, and that's the idea, right? Eventually, you lift the cup, yes, but you create a core, strong core that every year people come in and they know that what they want to do, what is expected. It's like a family, right?
Yes.
You
Yeah.
just have to step in and you just restart your engine and go every season.
Brilliant. Now, as you're referring to the younger ones, then let's discuss some of them that's included, like Colin Archibald,
Yeah.
Mikhail Louis. I believe
Louis.
he is Kittian.
Yeah.
Dominic Drakes. Well, these guys have been around for a while. Joshua De Silva, I
Yeah.
believe, is the West Indies test. Well,
Yeah.
he's trying to be West Indies test. So you definitely have a good mixture of young
Mm-hmm.
talent.
Correct.
Even some persons who, like in the case of Louis, have not necessarily been exposed at this level now, rubbing shoulders with the likes of the previous two we mentioned.
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah, go ahead.
just to add to the point of the young lads that we have, Joshua De Silva, amazing talent. He's really played well last year. He's doing well with the West Indies squad. It's just about nurturing him and molding him, and make and it's like a rough diamond, right? We in the management see him, the boys, the experienced campaigners in the team see his talent. It's just about how we nurture his talent. And
Yeah.
same has to go with Archibald. Archibald is an all rounder. him learning the tricks of the trade from one of the greatest all-rounders in T20 cricket. That thought is amazing.
Yes, it would be.
Even
Correct.
Louis, he's a tremendous leg spinner. He's a very attacking top order batsman. Imagine him getting all the tricks and tips from Chris Gale. All those things. The end point is that Archibald of the world, Dominic Drakes of the world, Louis of the world, is that we have three people right now. Okay, for example, from our region, the idea is to add more and more and more. So tomorrow we don't have to rely on any let me be very optimistic here. If how beautiful would it be if we have a team of 11 regional local players
Yes,
representing the island?
yes, yes,
I'm sure
yes.
that's something that is very optimistic, but still that should be the aim. Where because we're representing the island, the region. The idea is to make sure that the guys on the ground get the opportunities.
Okay, great. And I think most of the general public would be encouraged, uplifted, because, as I said, unfortunately, sometimes for us in sport, we only see the short term, and
Yeah,
it does take a little level of foresight to be able to say yes, you want to make a mark now, but you also want to be able to sustain that performance throughout in seasons and build on it, and then maybe after a few years of doing so, you have a squad that would become champions. Even not saying that you don't have one right now that doesn't. So then, in terms of the overseas players, then that are included, Rassi, Van der Dusen, Hasaranga, Norche, he's express pace when you
yeah,
mention yeah, and the Gubraz. Tell us a
good
little
buzz.
bit,
Yeah.
yeah,
Gurbaz.
Gurbaz,
Yeah,
yeah,
Yeah.
Gurbaz. From again, Rassi has been with us for past couple of seasons. We know,
Unfortunately,
we
hasn't
know,
been coming.
yeah, we know he's really talented. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it last year, and so it was just about extending. Like I said, it's family, right? You just don't come in and push away people
agreed,
who never got a chance, to showcase their talents. But talking about Gurbaz, he is an exciting talent. He just destroyed the bowling in the T10 league in Abu Dhabi, and the way he plays, he has no fear, right? How these Afghan players are. They play fearless cricket, like the guys in West Indies, like
yes,
that's
yes,
the
yes,
brand of cricket he plays. And we thought he would, along with Evan and Gale, give that balance, give that firepower that is needed uh, in our team. If it's just imagine if one goes, the other player can be Gurbaz or Gale or
yes,
Evan. It will
Or
never stop.
lose. Yeah.
And talking about Hasaranga, at this point in time, we see Hasaranga as one of the best leg spinners and all rounders in T20 cricket. He can come in and perform with the ball. He can come in and perform with the bat. And what he gives us is an extra option that extends our batting lineup right till number nine. With the likes of Allen, Fabian, with the likes of DJ, him. It really adds that depth and provides us an extra option. Which, if you ask me, last year that was something that we were lacking
yes,
due to
yes,
injuries. We missed out on few players, but we never had that extra option if the fifth bowler is getting hit. We never had that sixth option. So
agreed,
he
agreed.
adds that value over there. And not Jay, I don't think I have to say anything else. I would just say 155 kilometers an hour.
Yeah.
Any batsman on this planet would think twice before facing him. That's the kind of we just wanted to bring that kind of firepower on every end, right? On the batting side, on the bowling side, we just wanted that firepower in our team.
You can imagine
And
having to face. Go
just
ahead.
to add an anecdote, I think you guys would probably enjoy this as well. Is that I think we identified Banindu Asuranga. We sat down with our coaches, head coach Simon and with our assistant coach Malo, And we said, what do you guys think about this? And they said, let's close it. And we actually got uh, Vanindo Asaranga signed while the West Indies series was on, right? And what was surprising was that I think within 3 hours of us getting the signature of Vanindo Hasaranga, right, their approach was made by TKR.
Wow.
So we actually like bet them to it. So I'm very, very happy about that.
Yes,
The fact that
yes.
it just shows the kind of quality that guy brings in that so many guys wanted to do.
Brilliant.
And it was also, like if you look at even the way that and like VM was talking about family, right? I think the most easiest and the most shortest contract negotiation we had was with the Rassie van der Dussen. We just said, we want you to come back. He said yes, done. That's it.
Yeah.
That was a level of discussion. I'm not exaggerating. That was just it, and it was not even a conversation. It was just over a text message. So it just shows the
Nodje means when Nodje actually had signed for St. Lucia last year. If you see the list,
Yes.
and the way the rules and everything are in CPL, we just had a conversation with him, while he was playing in IPL, and he said, look, this is the plan that we have, and this is the vision that we have for you as a player. This is what St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots, means to us and means to the fans, and this is what you'll get if you come to us, not on monetary side, but on the support, the love from the fans and everything. He took some time, thought about it. It's not that we were the only ones who were after him. Eventually, he just said, "Okay, your project is the one that looks the most exciting ones." And at that time, we didn't have Bravo or Gale or anything. These guys were signed before we were talking about Gale or Bravo. So even without them, they agreed and they understood what we were trying to do, and they just bought into it.
Nice. So that means they were signed on long before the Friends reunion.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So the Friends reunion is almost like the cherry on top of the cake. The cake was already built and iced and everything else, basically.
Yes.
Oh well,
That's
actually,
the right
like
way to say.
it happened more closer towards the draft. The Friends reunion happened more closer towards the draft
Okay. Nice.
because, as you know, that Bravo is a transfer
Yes.
for Dinesh Ramdan, who played for us last
Right.
year, and
Even if you ask me, we're talking about all this, big name players. The guy that we, normally goes under the radar is Rutherford.
Yes.
That guy is an amazing batsman,
Yes.
and the value that he's going to bring to that squad. If you see, you're talking about firepower. That guy can change gears like nobody's business. He can come in, he can hit 4 sixes or 4 balls if we need. He can come in and he can play a long innings, till the 20th over. So the kind of flexibility that we have this year, it's tremendous. It's just that everything now needs to come together. Needs to operate as a well-oiled machine on the pitch, and the results will come.
Now, I don't want to move off a shirt.
and also last year, I mean, we were talking, sorry, Kenneth, but we were talking about the good voodoo magic.
Yeah.
Last year we missed a lot of that because, like I was mentioning about Coach Helmut.
Yeah.
Coach Helmut couldn't come last year because he just tested, positive like some 8 hours before he was supposed to take his flight.
I remember.
And
yes.
and the crazy thing was that till this day I keep telling the coach that he has got to get himself registered with Guinness Book of World Records because he's the guy who has gotten himself cured of corona in the fastest amount of time because in 48 hours he tested negative.
Wow.
So so I'm 100% sure that it was a false positive. Jokes aside, but that really hit us, right? Because it suddenly changed the dynamic. Because him and Emmet, who was a captain last year, had a great thing going. We couldn't get Malo to come in because of the IPL travel issues, and so suddenly everything seemed very. So we basically had to. So me and VM would have in that stretch of 48 hours, me and VM would have slept for maybe 3 hours,
Oh
combined
boy.
across 2 days, because we were just trying to get so many people to sort of like come in.
Yeah.
And then last year, we actually had identified a player that who unfortunately we couldn't take this year,
Mm-hmm.
which was Dennis Bullard. He's a fantastic prospect, but unfortunately last year he tested positive,
Oh.
so he couldn't travel. And that was a miss, because I think he's a very good, talented left arm spinner. VM would agree with me on this. And it just is that, unfortunately, because of our structure of the team this year, we couldn't bring him in. Otherwise, he was definitely on our radar. And that's why I'm hoping that this year we don't have to deal with any any of those things. And
Yeah.
what we have is this thing. So
No.
we will definitely want to look forward to having good juju. So I
Yeah.
hope everyone prays for us.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, obviously you have the entire St. Kitts and Nevis. It's not a large population on island, but definitely the diaspora definitely is pretty large. And then you on top of that, you always have this big country, small country battle in terms of West Indies cricket, where the big titles tend to go to the likes of the Trinidad and Jamaica and Guyana and Barbados. Cricket playing, countries, well, I mean, all of us are cricket playing countries, but with the franchise system, it sort of levels that playing field a little bit for us. And what I have found is that usually we're everybody else's second favorite team. Where we're batting way above our size, and I think that being home, and I don't know what you gentlemen think about that, being at home now at Warner Park would also lend to a good advantage, let's say, for the team this year, in terms, just even if it's just in terms of team building and generating the necessary type of energy that you would want around the team.
Hmm. Coming back to Warner Park, playing in front of our fans, if they're allowed in the stadium, or having that feeling that we are playing at our home matches, it's just gonna add that X factor to what is already an exciting season and will turn out to be an exciting season this year. Having said that, everybody loves David versus Goliath always.
Yes,
You know,
yes,
everybody is means I am someone who will always support David because I know that's how the mindset is for everyone. And this is like I said in the beginning also, right? And you were right when people was talking about Jamaica, when people are talking about TKR, they're the ones who've always had the best players. They're the ones who've always had the superstars in the team, and they could always do. People used to see them as someone who could always do the impossible, right? For us, like I said, it's never about doing impossible or a short-term success. It is about yes, coming in, making sure that we're performing, there is progress, and then making sure that the local players are being supported. The
yes,
systems in place on those big cricket playing islands are such that the talent is coming day in day out. Guyana, Jamaica, Trinidad. This is something that we are trying to put in place for the Leeward Island, specifically St. Kitts, where the talent is coming out. The local lads are being supported, and we give them the right pathway to come through the system and perform and on the big stage, CPL, and then
yes.
move to West Indies cricket. So, like I said, and like you were saying, it is the David versus Goliath thing. The small island versus big island. We are always up for that. We're always up for that.
And you're playing in David's hometown. So
Correct. Yep.
Goliath, still has to watch his back a little bit.
Goliath can go take a walk, I would say.
Brilliant, brilliant. Let's talk a little bit about you. You started discussing Coach Helmet and some of the challenges that he had last year. tell us a little bit more about what he's going to bring and the team. Well, so far, I don't know if you have a full complement of coaches selected as yet, but tell us a little bit about the structures around the players.
Um, Coach Helmet, I would say, tactically is one of the most brilliant coaches we've seen. One of the best minds, I would say, because when we were selecting the coach as well, so we kind of give a lot of freedom to the coach in terms of how we uh, how he wants the support staff to set up, because
Okay.
in the end those are the guys who are going to go on the pitch and perform, right?
Right.
So in terms of the support staff, that is something that is still in works. We are speaking to few of the guys that he wants on his team, and few of the guys we're seeing if we can bring from the local or the regional Leeward Islands area to see how we can bring them on board and give them that platform again. Because, like I said, I keep saying this: the players. But if you don't have the right coaches, the players will never move forward, because we're coming in for a few months and then we're going out. But the development needs to happen through the local coaches as well, and that relation needs to be built. So we're trying to see if we can plug that gap as well through this process. But like I said, it's still a process and we're talking to a lot of people. But coming back to Coach Helmut, like I said, he is brilliant when it comes to identifying. Even last year when he was not there, he used to text us and say, "Boss, this is something that you did wrong on the pitch today." The analysis that he does is always spot on. And when we sat down and he just started, he had everything ready in front of him. He's like, "Look, this is what we missed last year. This is where we were wrong. This is what we should have done, and this is how we move forward." I'm not saying everything should be bundled up and being delivered in the first season, but this is what I want in this season and the second season going forward.
Yeah.
So that's how he is.
Oh, and in terms of his experience, he's obviously has a very long resume in T20 cricket.
Correct.
And that would be critical, given some of the youngsters that we have in the system.
Correct. It's just not only picking up from the fellow players, teammates. It is also about getting to learn from a coach like Helmet. How do you analyze the game?
Yes.
When you're sitting outside, for the boys who are on the bench, the young ones, technically, they'll get to know how he breaks the game, how he analyzes the game, how he talks to the analysts, and how he gets what he wants, and then how he decides how to tackle a situation in game, before the game, after the game. So it's a really exciting thing, for us when we're sitting outside and we're looking at this and we're looking at this project and we're saying like, okay, this is something that can be very huge very soon.
Brilliant. And in terms of when, do you have already a timeline in terms of when you will probably have the full squad on island to begin their quarantine and bubble and everything else?
That will be the first week of August.
First week of August. Okay. And you will have a bit of bonding time, I would assume. And in terms of the local support, I am aware that there's already the wheels are already turning. So I'm hoping that when they arrive and you guys arrive, it will be a great opportunity to get some updates, see what the potential is, how much growth there has been, and what we're looking forward to for the upcoming CPL season. Now,
The only thing I would want to say,
go ahead.
sorry,
Go ahead. Yeah.
to the fans is that if everybody wants to have a terrific CPL in St. Kitts and Nevis this year, I would urge everybody to get vaccinated and stay safe.
Yes.
That's the only way we can get the full, enjoyment or whatever we are looking for from the CPL 2021.
Agreed. In fact, I believe that if there are fans allowed into the facility for the games, it may just be vaccinated fans.
Yeah.
But the good
Yes,
thing
that's
about
what we're hearing too.
yeah, so the good thing about it though is that the number of persons whom are coming forward of late, especially because of circumstances here on the island. So hopefully by then, we would have gotten closer to the 70 percentile, vaccinated persons and make it a little bit safer for everybody performing. One of the questions go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was saying super.
One of the questions I was going to ask is that last season, you could only go up from what we did last season, but what are your early predictions / I can't say expectations because as fans we're optimistic. You tend to have a bit more of a level-headed view of what the expectations are like. What are your early season predictions? Early now that you've seen the full draft from all the teams, how are things? How do you see things lining up, and how do you see St. Kitts and Nevis once we get everything?
I don't want to put pressure on the team, but I'm going to say that if we are not in that final, I would personally be disappointed.
Okay.
I think you have just portrayed us in a very different way. It's not, we have to come across as if, we are level-headed when it comes to St. Kitts and Nevis or the teams that we support, but we are as bad or good as the fans, when it comes to the team. We scream, at the
probably
top of our
more.
voice.
Yeah. Probably
more. And the excitement, if we are not in front of the camera, the t-shirts might be off if we win the cup, running inside our rooms. But, like Venki said, the expectation on that day, anything can happen. The expectation is it's our home matches are being played in Warner Park.
Yes.
Reaching the final is the ultimate goal, and then putting our hands on the trophy is the cherry on the top. But reaching the final is the ultimate goal for us at this point in time.
I'll be honest with you. I see it as our year to put our hands on the trophy. I see it. I see.
You are a Manchester United fan, right?
Yes, I am.
That sounds like a Liverpool fan talking.
Oh, sorry.
Well, is there a difference between United and Liverpool anymore?
Well, right now, yeah.
You guys are talking about history, same thing that they used to do.
Point taken, yeah.
But we never come back and say that it is going to be our year. We are just saying we are in transition, so that's the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I Manchester. I'm one of those Manchester United fans whom approach it a little bit more realistically. I'm aware of how far we are behind the top 3 teams that's in the top 4 with us. And I don't see the club necessarily at this point making the right moves to correct the situation, in the sense that if you're offering Ole an extension, and boy, you guys have made me move off of Patriots a bit, but we'll get back here. If you're going to offer Ole an extension, and the challenging top 4 coaches or teams are Manchester United, Ole, Chelsea is Tuchel, Manchester City, who won, is Pep Guardiola, and Liverpool, who just won last season, is Jurgen Klopp. You're talking about 3 coaches of extremely high caliber. So I don't see us in resigning Ole. I don't see that necessarily as being a good thing, because
I am with you over there, because United is, I don't know what has happened, because United has never been proactive in the transfer market. Look at Liverpool last year. They saw the problem with the defense. They got a centre back signed already. Tactically, they have a brilliant coach. Tactically, they have a brilliant squad. United, we went ahead and we gave Eric Bailly a 3-year contract or what, I don't know, whatever that was. But these are the deadwoods that we are carrying since Sir Alex left.
Yes.
We are not able to ship out Jones.
Exactly.
Forget about Eric Bailly.
And forgive me, even Mata and all, these guys are just there because there's a little level of history, but not even real history. They came over with I think it's Moyes that brought Mata there when he was no longer needed at Chelsea. Who in turn, like I was saying to some fellow Manchester United fans, and they tell me that Chelsea actually has a much better structure, and they're like, they change coaches too often and everything else. I said, yeah, but look at the amount of trophies that Chelsea have won over the last decade or so. I mean,
That's the tweet that I had a few days back. Nobody tells about the new coaches needing time. Nobody talks about the 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 style of football that they have to play.
thank
Nobody
you.
talks about the players. It is not my player, it is your player. No such bullshit that United has been carrying with them
Exactly.
since Sir Alex left. Moyes never got his players. This guy never got that player. This is the style. Blah blah blah. All those things are never there at Chelsea. I think the manager knows what he has to do. He has to come in, he has to perform, or else
Yes,
he's out. At
exactly.
United, we are trying to embrace, uh, the mid-table culture. I would say. I'm sorry. I'm a passionate United fan, but I have to say it. Our team finishing second this year was just because of one man's brilliance. You take that man away, and we are not even in the top six.
Thank you. Thank you. And that to me was never Manchester United. Manchester United was always a team of even the least talented would be playing as good as some of the best players on the opposing team because they were playing amongst other talented players and they were not allowed to drop their standard. That final there at against Villarreal, they never looked anything like a Manchester
A
United team.
Manchester United fan cheering for the team in the Europa League final is the worst. I'm not saying that I'm not raising questions on the Europa League or anything, but that is not our standard.
Thank you.
We are meant to play on Wednesday and not on Thursday.
Thank
End
you.
of story.
Exactly. So anytime you're celebrating a Europa League and talking about it's going to be the sign of better things to come, tells me that you're still not yet at the level that you're supposed to be for me to be a Manchester United coach.
Correct.
I mean, yes, you have that calm demeanor and you have a great relationship with the players and, you had some very good winning runs, but when it
The
comes to what,
tactical
yeah,
the tactical brilliance is not there when it is needed.
no,
And
no.
which manager sits on the bench for 120 minutes and is not making any substitutions, looking at his players? Rashford has been injured for the entire season, and that boy has played 120 minutes. I know he missed that chance. I
Yes,
was furious, but please understand he's been carrying knocks. He needs to undergo surgery or whatever that is.
exactly.
We cannot blame him. The manager who's sitting there on the bench or that hot seat needs to be blamed for not making the right substitutions. In-game
Yes.
management was
Why did you take off Greenwood, who to me was having a better game?
correct.
And he was in better form on the whole. So leaving Greenwood, I mean taking Greenwood and benching him and leaving on Rashford to me was just it's almost like
And
he,
bringing Dan James. Sorry, but if he ever listens to this or if it ever reaches him, he just comes on the pitch and runs like a headless chicken.
yes,
No
he's
brains.
not a
He has
Manchester
speed.
United
That's it.
player.
Not a Manchester United player. Not a Manchester United under 23 player as well.
No,
We have better players in our under 23 squad who deserve chance.
exactly. He
He
just
comes in,
fast.
he runs from one end to the other end without any end product. I don't know how we were going to find goals with those players.
I don't know.
And this is what has happened, right? Bruno had an off day,
Yes,
finish. No tactics, nothing. It is like pass to Bruno and let him score. If he doesn't do it, we'll draw. That's it. That's
yes,
the strategy.
yes. And Pogba had a bad day as well too. Um,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, to me, I think they can get so much more out of him, but for some reason they prefer to just spend his time investing in defend somebody to partner Maguire, and then making excuses because I was having this. I mean, finally, I was having this discussion with a friend of mine where I said that since when Manchester United has been so concerned about defensive midfield players? Yes, we had the likes of Keane and Carrick, but for the most part, the reason we used to win a lot of the games because our defense was pretty sound. We had the likes of Vidic and Ferdinand and Steve Bruce and Palestine, Jap Stam. We had quality defenders who never complained about not having a good defensive midfield.
It's been about unlocking Pogba since I don't know how many seasons. This player will unlock his potential. This manager will do that. I think the United fans, this is just me, should pull their goggles down and see that guy. I like him. Okay, it's not that I don't like him, but he is inconsistent in terms of the performances that we need from him. Because he's the one who's going to string all those passes.
Yes.
He's the one who's going to be the deep lying playmaker. And if he's having an off day every other week, then we are going to struggle because everything comes on to Bruno.
Yes.
He's the only creative outlet that we have.
And then Bruno gets tired by soon after mid-season because he's forced to play almost every game.
Yeah, and you have Van de Beek, who is a brilliant player.
Yes.
But we are hell-bent on destroying him, his confidence, I don't know what not.
That's what I keep saying. I just don't see Ole as a person to. I mean, with those players, he could have at least won the Europa. And there's no excuse for me not winning the Europa against a sixth place La Liga Villarreal, no matter how many times Unai.
This is the conversation I've had with my fellow United fans. Always they're like, Ole is the guy. I say Ole is not the guy. If Ole is in charge, we're not winning anything.
At all.
Ole has done a tremendous job in making sure that the club, is stable now.
Yes.
He stabilized everything. Come in and cut down the chaos. Similar to what Frank Lampard did
at Chelsea.
But his job was done. The owner knew that this is what he is coming for and this is what he's capable of. Our owners should also look at that and say, okay, boss, this is what your job and this is what you have done. It's okay, thank you.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to reach to the point where, it's only when he begins to fail properly, then the fans turn on him and then the club is forced to fire him, unceremoniously, as opposed to just moving away, making a hard decision now and setting somebody to give them an opportunity for the new season.
He's given us good memories, as a player. He's given us good memories versus Juventus, PSG. He's given us some good games, against City, against Liverpool. And I, as a fan, don't want those memories to be killed by his performances next season.
Thank you.
All I can say is that I can give him another season as a fan, but there needs to be a manager who is tactically better than him, who should come and manage United, because I cannot, at this moment, on paper, United is as good as Chelsea or Liverpool, but we are not well coached.
Agreed. In fact, in some areas, we may even have one or two better players, but they're not very well coached at all. And is it that VM, you are the Chelsea fan?
No,
that's me.
Venki, you're the Chelsea fan.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so
yes, I am.
You had a great day yesterday altogether, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. So, unlike most Chelsea fans, I have been a fan pre-Abramovich era.
Oh, wow.
And so I've always been a fan of Chelsea. I got into Chelsea primarily because of two Italians, Zola and Cudicini.
Yeah, I remember Zola.
So it was so they were fun teams. And, a lot of people keep forgetting that Chelsea used to challenge for titles, but that was the era in which Arsenal and Manchester United were very, very strong teams, right? And Chelsea did not have a structure like that. So in fact, one of the things that me and Vian discussed a lot about was the fact that if you remember, the first season that Abramovich took over, Chelsea finished second,
Yes.
But immediately the idea was that we will, we want to build a team that can win, right? And that can provide a sort of like a challenge to the incumbent, champions like United and Arsenal. So obviously, we had the special one when he was still special,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
and he came in and he just shook that duopoly that existed between Arsenal and United. And like VM was talking about, that is what we want to achieve here as well as the Patriots, is because there is this thing. If you look at TKR and you look at Jamaica Talawas, right, and they have won a lot more trophies, and we're going for a first one,
Yes.
right? So that is so like I as a Chelsea fan coming from pre-Abramovich era, I look at it that way.
Yes.
And the thing is that Mahesh is also a similar kind of owner, where he is very much invested into the game, unlike Glazers.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. Yes. Yes.
that is very important, the ownership aspect of it. And I think we have been quite lucky in that sense, that he really, like, when me and VM just told him that, because I still remember the call that we had with Mahesh, and he said, look, we do not want to feel this way, right? Because it was just disappointing, and it was just a bit, I'd put it very bluntly, it was extremely insulting for that team to have just won once,
Yes.
right? I think that team was a
Better.
team that should have won a lot more,
Yes.
right? And
And there were many
it
games when they were
created
well positioned to win, and in fact,
Exactly.
and it didn't. They weren't able. So you're right. It was a bit insulting to a certain extent, because I'm certain they didn't feel very good about it either.
Yeah, so absolutely, the players also, the players also sort of like, I'm sure they were disappointed,
Yes.
and the guys who were there and who are still with us, guys like Emirate, guys like Soldier, right? And
Cottrell.
you look at them, and they've been in here, yeah, I'm talking about Sheldon. And and they've been here, and they're such a big part of the franchise, right? You look at Evan Lewis; he's been in this franchise from day one. So
Yes.
it is just as is for those guys also. This is the time, because I remember Mahesh telling me that for the first time he actually got a call from Evan, and Evan said, this time I really want to win. So can we build a winning team?
Yeah.
So that is the kind of atmosphere that is there, and we want to keep stoking that fire,
Yes.
right? And we just want to keep winning, right? If you look at it, the Abramovich era has brought Chelsea the maximum number of titles. I was just seeing I retweeted a bunch of stuff on Twitter, everything about Chelsea. I've been retweeting since yesterday, but one of those things was about how under Abramovich, Chelsea has won the highest number of titles compared to your United or Liverpool.
Yes.
I don't think we should even mention Arsenal in that list, but
Well, yeah,
and,
Arsenal. I don't
just
think
look at
they won anything. They probably won one.
a couple of FA Cup titles, I think, in the middle.
Yeah. You're right. They should be mentioned.
I think
as well.
apart from that, nothing. Yeah. So Liverpool and
Thing
stuff like
about
that.
Arsenal, while we're talking about teams like United, Chelsea, and Liverpool should be relevant and should be a prime. Arsenal fans coming and talking on Twitter when we are discussing about United and Chelsea, those guys just get blocked. They should be told immensely.
You're not allowed in that discussion.
That see, I feel bad for them because they are in the same boat as we are because of a bad owner.
Yes.
They were a brilliant team under Wenger, and that era was electric. When Sir Alex and Wenger were at their peak. But after that, they've just gone off the cliff. And nothing has to do with the fans or anybody else. It's just their owners.
Yeah.
It's just that United is a bigger brand than Arsenal, and that's why we have survived.
I actually have a theory in the sense that, unlike the Leicester owners, let's say, for example, and Abramovich, in Chelsea's case, the American owners, I don't think, understand football and understand the culture behind
Correct.
football. And because of that, they're unable to make the connection from a management perspective to put the right people in place. What Liverpool did to get around that was that they hired English CEOs who understood the club. But in terms
If
of
you,
the others, yeah,
I mean, I think Ed Woodward is still is English,
yes,
but again, it is one of those classic things where you have a guy who is a trained accountant to run a business, and he's still thinking in terms of dollars rather than looking at the results.
if
yes,
you
I'm not
see
dissing on
Manchester
any accountant,
United,
just to be clear,
since
but I'm just saying that.
Pep Guardiola, Pep spent $1.2 billion since he has joined Manchester City, and in the same amount of time, the Manchester United owners have taken out $1 billion. That is not anybody else's money, mind you. That
yep,
is the money that we have been making as a club that rightfully belongs to us and rightfully should have been invested in the right players. A
agreed.
simple example, the amount that we got from the sale of Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh boy,
Please
yeah.
rewind and go back and think of the players that we signed: Michael Owen, Antonio
Valencia,
Valencia.
agreed.
We bought Bebe, we bought Oberton. You are telling me these are the guys who will replace the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo and fill the boots of Cristiano Ronaldo?
And
We
Valencia
were
never
winning
failed.
because of Sir Alex's brilliance.
Yes,
That's it.
yes,
Not the players that we were signing.
yeah, agreed,
All those guys who were brought in to replace that man have left United.
agreed,
The
agreed.
only guy who stayed back was Valencia.
And Valencia was just hardworking. I think what saved him was
That's
that
it.
he was
That's it.
hardworking. So he eventually was able to work his way into relevance. One of the things I also wanted to mention, Venki, in terms of if you want to look at comparisons to what we're trying to do here with the Patriots, Chelsea's youth and the youth system and then the transfers. I mean, yes, there are some misses in the form of De Bruyne, Salah, and some
Lukaku.
and other major superstars, but in terms of their ability to remain relevant, even though they allow those players to leave, and these players go on to be superstars elsewhere, is pretty remarkable in of itself because they've been pretty consistent in that regard, criticized to a certain extent, but again, you're still relevant in world football. You're still winning trophies. I mean, the likes of Havertz and Werner now are Champions League winners. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. I think though I as a fan I sort of like disagree a bit with Chelsea. Like now, of course, you have Mason Mount, Reece James, and all these guys have come up. But if you look at it, that also the policy that allowed them to happen was primarily because we had a transfer ban, and we couldn't go out and buy players,
Right.
right? And one important thing is we lost someone like a Eden Hazard, right?
Yeah.
And yet we won the Champions League. So extremely proud of that one. And the other thing was, if you look at it, the amount of the youth that Chelsea has signed and that plays for Chelsea as well. In the youth league for a long, long time, the youth league, excuse me, the youth league was literally run by Chelsea in a sense that Chelsea was winning back to back, right? You look at CHO, you look at Mason Mount, and these guys were champs, right? And they have been champions consistently, right? And that is where I think a very strong like if this was what has happened in a case like United, or at least the old United, I'm sure you guys would have graduated them into
The
the
first team.
full squad and given them the time for them to perform. But because of Chelsea's philosophy, or I would say Roman's philosophy of that if the team is not performing, he fires the manager, right? And that apparently gets a reaction from the players. So
Yes.
he's quite consistent that way. But I don't think that could be a parallel here, because one of the challenges that we faced as being a smaller island is like we do not really have a real large talent pool that is available inside of St. Kitts and Nevis.
And
Primarily,
even
of course,
even in
the islands
Leeward
itself
Islands,
are
yeah,
small.
right, agreed.
Yeah, so we have to look outwards from a Leeward Islands perspective, right? And even then, the pool is still, sort of limited
Agreed.
compared to the giants like Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, and that was one of the reasons why me and VM came up with a strategy where we said, even if it is not local, we would rather want, to have a more stronger West Indian core, rather than, have our team be based on international talent a lot.
Yes.
So that's the reason why there is a perceptible shift. If you noticed, we are the probably only team with VM who has only 4 international players
Yes.
Yep.
against the 5 that we are allowed to pick in our squad. So we just have 4 because
Oh,
we couldn't find the spot for the 5th person.
because you pulled so much from the region.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That is something of note. Brilliant. I didn't even notice that. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah. Yeah, and even for example, you were talking about Mikel. We were given the option of whether we can pick a MLC player or not pick a player at all and just have a 16 squad, right? And of course, from a financial perspective, there would have been a bit of a saving, right? But our idea wasn't that, and this is because actually Mikel is actually someone that Mahesh told us that there is a player called Mikel. You guys have to take a look at him. So so that just shows you the kind of owner who Mahesh
Yeah,
is.
he's in.
That he knew
yes,
someone
yes.
who's that young, and he just
Yeah.
said, I think there is a player like that. Why don't you guys take a look at
And
him?
he
So
has
we
to
had
be
an
paying
analyst check him
attention.
out and
He
stuff.
has to be paying attention to
Yeah.
what's going on here locally to be able to identify.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's very, very good. Well, you can convey our gratitude and convey our
Sure, we'll do that.
excitement. Thank you very much for being here. It's been a very enlightening conversation, and I'm certain it wouldn't be our last either, because there's a lot of time leading
Absolutely
up,
not.
and then we're going to probably want to touch base with 1 or 2 of the team members, and then when you get here on island,
Sure.
I'm hoping you guys are going to be coming here as well with the
Absolutely.
brilliant.
Absolutely, and so will Mahesh.
That'll be brilliant. And we'll be able to show you a little bit of the island as much as we possibly can, given all the restrictions, and ensure that the relationship remains as strong as it is right now. But thank you very much for being here, and we look forward to doing this again sometime soon. And again, convey our gratitude on behalf of the St. Kitts Nevis Patriots fans and local Kittitians and divisions for doing what you are doing, and we have our fullest support going into this 2021 CPL.
And can I just because before we go, I just want to say we want to thank St. Kitts and Nevis fans because they stood by us last year, even though it was frustrating. So this squad is thank you to the fans of St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots for having gone through what we did last year.
Brilliant.
And we hope it changes.
Yes, it
This
should.
year.
It should. It should. I'm, as I told you, my expectation is at least for the first time we could swing the trophy, because we have a nice balance here, and there's a lot of hunger here, from a number of different reasons. And maybe what we could do perhaps the next time we sit down, we could actually go through the players individually and discuss reasons by which I think they have a little bit of an extra edge to bring to the table. But any last words from yourself, Venki?
All I wanted to say is that Venki said about the fans, but all I want to say is please make sure you guys stay safe. Cricket and being a fan of St. Kitts and Nevis Patriots and everything else is on one side, but being safe, staying safe, keeping your family safe is of the most important. Is the most important thing at this point in time. We will always come back to the island and give you the excitement that you deserve. But all we want for you guys is to stay safe.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for your sentiments, and thank you very much for being here with us. And I want to thank the audience as well for listening in. And these are our incoming, well, they've been our management team, a double duo of cricket and management minds in form of Venkatesh Sridhar and correct me if I'm pronouncing your names correctly or incorrectly, and Vaibhav Mehta.
That's correct.
Yes, you got it right.
Nice,
Right.
nice. So thanks again, gentlemen, and thank you, listening public. And we're going to sign out
Thank
here
you. It's
on a brilliant Sunday afternoon with some brilliant news. And we're going to turn it over to the producer. Thank you for joining me this
Thank
afternoon.
you. Thank you, guys. Take care.
Thanks, Kenneth. Take care.
All
Bye-bye.
the
Stay
best.
safe, guys.
For real and unbiased sports news